Welcome back. From the environment, let's talk some business now. Have you been looking for some credit to start a small scale or medium sized business? Well, you have tuned in at the right time. As part of its public service initiatives in support of the development of small and medium enterprises in Nigeria, the Bank of Industry has continued to take a number of proactive steps towards creating a favorable ecosystem for SMEs in the country. No, so just keep all those questions in the bag and you can whip them out once I've introduced our guests. The Executive Director, Small and Medium Enterprises of the Bank of Industries, Mr. Wahid Olagunju, is with us this morning. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
He used to be one of us, by the way.
I'm on sabbatical. I'm still one of you.
And he's come along with the Director of the Enterprise Development Center at the Pan-Atlantic University, Mr. Peter Bamkoli.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, tell us about these business development service providers, which the BOI has initiated.
Well, about a year ago, there was a change in leadership at the Bank of Industry, at the board level and at the management level. And it was discovered that SMEs accounted for less than 10% of our risk assets. That means the loans that the bank had granted over a 13-year period. And we realized that because of that, the developmental impact of the bank's operations have not also been remarkable. Because ordinarily, the multiplier effects per unit of investment in SMEs is much higher than in large enterprises. So, yes, please, yeah, because a large enterprise, you could give a loan of 1 billion and they bring in highly automated equipment that would employ less than 100 workers.
Okay.
But if you grant 1 billion naira facility to a number of SMEs, you could generate up to 5,000 jobs. So it was realized that if we had exposed more, if we had been more exposed to SMEs, we would have been able to create more jobs. Because in 13 years, we were able to create just about 2 million jobs, with only 10% of our portfolio going to SMEs. So we want to increase.
Okay. I would have thought that the bank's interest would be more about getting back its money and not providing employment.
Well, there are as a development financier, we have two bottom lines: financial viability and developmental impact.
Okay.
And for developmental impact to be sustainable, that means you have to be financially viable.
Okay.
It's only when you get your money back that you can continue to on-lend, and it's when you lend to viable enterprises that then the jobs will be created. Because there's no point me lending you 5 million today, you employ 20 workers, and the business collapses after 1 year. You're back to square one. Okay. So we have to ensure that your business is viable, so that when you start off with 20, you can come back at a additional load of 10 million and employ 30 and employ 50.
So it doesn't matter if I pay back the money in 1 year and the business collapses?
No. That's what I'm saying.
The two of them must go hand in hand.
That's a two bottom line.
Okay.
Viable, yeah, and have developmental impact. So we appointed the BDSPs, I was going to explain to you, in order to increase the number of SME applications to the bank. Because when looking back, we realized that how come SMEs accounted for less than 10%? We realized that most SMEs do not even know how to apply to banks. They don't know how to prepare banking proposals. So we now felt we needed to appoint experts who will help current and potential customers prepare bankable proposals, right? And this was corroborated by a study conducted jointly by KPMG International and the Enterprise Development Center, where it was discovered that there was an banking industry-wide 90% rejection rate in applications that go to banks.
Yeah.
In other words, out of every 10 applications by SMEs, 9 are rejected. So they don't know how to prepare bank proposals. So that was why we appointed 122 BDSPs, and it was through a competitive process. National advertisements were placed, and we appointed 122. And we didn't stop at that. We also negotiated concessional fees, because we also know that most SMEs will not be able to pay, for example, an EDC, right? So they agreed that for loans below 10 million naira, they would charge as low as 10,000 naira. And for loans above 10 million and below and up to 50 million, they would charge 25,000 naira. And loans above 50 million and up to 200 million, they will charge 50,000 naira.
This is for just training?
No! Preparing bankable proposals.
Yes.
Which ordinarily cost perhaps double digits in some instances, hundreds of thousands, ordinarily. So these are concessional fees.
Mr. Bankole, I mean, yes, you had these agreements. 6 months down the line, it looks like the target, you're not nearing the target. Why?
Yeah, there are so many issues. The bankable proposal is one of it. But to be able to generate those proposals, you basically sift out those that are serious and those that are not serious. And so people may want money for the want of it. But by the time you start going through the documentation, then you will notice that a number of them will not be able to follow.
Are you saying, you're implying that of all the people you've had, these issues of
not all of
sincerity
them.
or purpose?
Not all of them. I would say out of every 100, perhaps 80 will fall out quickly. Now, when you take the 20 that are serious, and again, this is a conversation we've been having, the issue of collateral is a key issue. And there is no way majority of these people will still be able to access because they don't have the collateral. Irrespective of the funding, and I know that there's quite a lot, I think you have about 15 billion set aside
this year.
There is no way majority of the small businesses will still be able to access it. Because when you do have very strongly well-prepared packaged proposal, the issue of collateral, especially for women, is a major issue.
Mr. Bankole, you mean that the money is there, sitting down and crying for SMEs to come and take it?
Now, it's not.
Yes, 15 billion.
Finding people.
Yes, exactly.
It's
15 billion for this year alone.
It's not only
BOI.
It's not only BOI. We even have initiative by the CBN. So at the same time, the issue of collateral, as we must come together, BOI, the stakeholders, all of us must come together and say, how can we resolve this issue?
Now, let me swing to Mr. Lagaju. Now, since the issue of collateral is a big issue,